welcome everybody back to Crawlstock RC. I hope everybody's well and safe and families are doing okay. I know troubled times at the moment, but you know, we have to do the best we can to get through it, and if everybody works together, then hopefully we'll be good. I myself have been doing a lot of rebuilding crawlers and, you know, a bit of maintenance on vehicles that I've had for a while, and the old D90ish here, this is ready for a bit of an overhaul. So I think what I'll do a few videos, probably fairly short videos, but there'll be lots of sort of little modifications, tips, tricks. Hopefully it's going to help you out with some of your modifying too. So what am I going to be covering? Well, the first thing I need to do is to make a new set of suspension links for it. I've fitted a set of metal axles to it because I had a breakage on one of the plastic ones, and the original suspension links are not suitable for the axles that I've put on. So I thought the first thing I can do is show myself measuring, making and doing the links. I'm going to be using a few specialist tools which not everybody will have, but hopefully you'll either have access or contact me, maybe I can help you out. But you're going to need taps, dies, a lathe, and some measuring equipment. And cool, let's get going. So as you can hopefully see here, the metal axles that I fitted, they're very generic. You should be able to pick them up from any online auction site, but they are very sturdy. They seem to last quite well and give the scale look, but unfortunately we'll need to do a few little modifications. So as you can see here, I'm running a 4-link suspension setup on the front and a 4-link on the back. These metal links are available from the auction sites. They're probably only about £20 for a set, which is very good. You can modify them to make them different lengths to suit whatever you're building, so that's quite good. But I want it to be a little bit different, and I want to make some stainless steel ones. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a bit of a play around with where they're sitting at the moment. This axle at the moment is sitting, it's tilting too far back, so the steering geometry is out. So what I want to do is to maneuver it into a position where I'm happy with it. Then I'm going to measure all the links, and then I'll show you the steps of making the links. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're actually doing at the lathe. So I'm sure most people are familiar with what a lathe is. At the end of the day, it's a machine that rotates the workpiece that you're making, and using a tool, in this instance a carbide cutter, to reduce the diameter of the material so that we can put the thread on it. Next, what is threading? So threading is the process of putting a, as you can see, thread, and in this case the end of the bar, so that we can screw on the ball joints. So we do that using a die. Again, there's different ways of doing it, but in this instance we're using the die, which is a 4mm die, 4mm being the OD, the outside diameter of the thread that we need. So what we're doing is we're turning this 5mm bar down to 4mm so that we can put the thread on it. So as you can see there, I'm using the lathe to get the thread started, and then once it's made a start on the thread, I'm just finishing off by hand, just for a tidier thread, and then I'll reverse the lathe just to wind it back off. I'd only recommend doing this if you're really confident on a lathe, because you need to know when the lathe is going to get to the end of the thread, because as soon as it does, then your handle is going to turn, and you could take your fingers with it. So only do that if you are confident. So here we are, we've got our two identical new links. I'll show you how I've done the measurements in a moment, but basically you need to measure the dimensions of the links that you're using into comparison with the links that you're making, and then you can work out the correct overall lengths for them. Otherwise you'll obviously end up with them too long or too short. So all I need to do now is to screw this onto here, both ends, and then just pop in the ball joint, and then it's ready to put on the vehicle. Great tool for this is a pair of these pliers, specifically for doing links, shock absorbers, and for putting the ball joints in. All you need to do is to sit the ball joint on top using the pinion there, just pop that in and click. You've got a nice clean finish. The reason I use these over a pair of long nose pliers is so that you don't damage the receiver, and then your ball joints end up being really tight. Our second set of links, this is for the lower front ones. I won't show the fitting of them because that's fairly straightforward, but once they're on I'll show you, and then we can move on to doing the rears. So when putting these back, we've just got to remember to put the shocks on as well. So we put our screw through the shock absorber, through the link, make sure it goes all the way through, and then we'll do the same the other side. So screw into the shock absorber, through the link, and there we go. I'll do the props in a minute. I'm putting a new different set of prop shafts on, so I'm not too worried about those. And there we go, that's our first set of links installed. I hope you agree they look pretty cool. Nice stainless steel, Traxxas ball joints. I'll soon be putting Traxxas prop shafts on as well because I like those, and we'll be moving on to the rear. I'll explain how I work out the length of the links. So hopefully you can see the drawing okay. Now if I want the link to be 115 millimeters from the centre of the hole to the centre of the hole, I've already worked out the length of my eyelets at the ends, and then I need to deduct that from the overall length. So in this case I've got 115 millimeters minus 17 and 17, because obviously there's one at each end, and that leaves me a length of 81 millimeters, which is collar to collar, and I'm using 10 millimeters of thread inside the eyelet. So overall I would end up with 101 millimeter link. That is the part that I need to make out of metal, which you would have seen earlier. Hopefully that explains it. If you've got any questions, then please ask. So there you go guys, hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into making your own links. If there's anything I can help you with, please get in touch. As for health and safety, please do as I say and not as I do. Take care of yourselves and see you very soon.